Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick of Texas. People might remember him for a variety of reasons, but mostly he became infamous at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Not sure if you've ever heard of it, for advocating that grandma and grandpa should be sacrificed at the altar of capitalism so we didn't have to close down the economy. Basically saying that they would want the economy for their kids to be robust, and so they're fine with dying of COVID. Yeah, that's that kind of guy. Well, he's back on Fox News, where he originally made those statements back in early 2020. This time on Laura Ingraham's show. Here he is engaging in the latest Republican brand of whataboutism. They've been dancing around using this argument tactic for a bit, but now it seems like they're diving headfirst in on vaccination rates. He's trying to direct ire away from himself and Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, as their ban on masks and promotion of vaccine hesitancy is having a deadly effect on their population.
Coming after your state really quickly here, and as a response, coming after your state because the increased COVID numbers, hospitalizations, deaths are up in Texas, and there's a direct assault on your governor's policies and your state's policies. Very brief response.
Yeah. Well, Laura, the COVID is spreading, particularly most of the numbers are with the unvaccinated, and the Democrats like to blame Republicans on that. Well, the biggest group in most states are African Americans who have not been vaccinated. And the last time I checked, over 90% of them vote for Democrats in their major cities and major counties. So it's up to the Democrats to get, just as it's up to Republicans, to try to get as many people vaccinated. But we respect the fact that if people don't want the vaccination, we're not going to force it on them. That's their individual right. But in terms of criticizing the Republicans for this, we're encouraging people who want to take it, but they're doing nothing for the African American community that has a significant high number of unvaccinated
TikTok
people.
videos.
So they need
we got
to
a lot
address that.
we got a lot of TikTok.
Yes. TikTok, I don't know where she got that part from. But here's the thing. Yeah, Black Americans' vaccination rates are lower than some other groups in many areas, but not as low as Republicans.
Well, and also probably not for the same reasons. We've talked all the times about barriers to getting vaccinated are correlated with class sort of things, which are in this country very correlated with race. I'm
going to get to that, I swear. So like, let's just pull up this then Washington Post and Kaiser Family Foundation chart from a few weeks back. So you can see here, Democrats and white Democrats have the highest percentage of having had at least one dose, and the definitely won't get, the purple on the end there, is very, very little. Then you see white adults in bold. There are a bunch of other different categories there. Black adults are behind them, but not too far behind them. And right at the bottom there, you see Republicans and white Republicans. And you will see also that the purple is a lot higher for them, right? And uninsured under 65, it's cut off, I think, a little bit here, but that's actually the lowest demographic because, as Matt said, poverty is a major factor. But as you see, the definitely won't get for Republicans and white Republicans higher than all of the other groups except evangelical Christians, who are very similar right down at the bottom. We're good with that chart there. But like, as Matt said, poverty is the number one factor inextricably tied with race in this country. And a lot of it has to do with misinformation about being charged for the vaccine. That's why you see uninsured under 65 as being the number one demo that hasn't at least gotten one dose. 2, poor people are not able to take off work to get the vaccine, and they're also worried about getting sick after the jab. And 3, Black Americans also have generational trauma of medical abuse by the state. And so, like, as I said, in that chart, though, they're a lot less likely than Republicans in general to say that they will get the vaccine.
Right. In spite of this country's history of sort of just medical neglect and abuse of Black people, their numbers are higher than white Republicans.
Right. And so, like, it's just a disingenuous argument from the get-go. And it's a way to whitewash no pun intended, their deliberate vaccine misinformation that's coming out of one party. It's coming out of one side. It's coming from Republicans.
This is like ghoulish. Ghoulish, Daniel Bessner informed me, is usually when you speak ill or, I think, over the dead. The way that in the midst of a rising not only case rate but death rate for COVID, to talk about an, quote, assault on your policies. No, people are dying and they want to hold the state responsible because that's who is responsible.
Right. And so... And of course, in Texas, the state is run by Republicans who are using this pandemic as a political opportunity to sap the idea of collective action and, well, not more just like public response in the pandemic of banding together. They're using that to undercut that concept. They're using this period of time to undercut that concept. So as I said, it's disingenuous from the get-go. And one side is saying get vaccinated and the other side is fear-mongering about it. And they're making a necessary feature of a pandemic response into a personal choice, which is part of that overall project, as I mentioned before. But also, when you make vaccines about personal choices and then people are encouraging you to get vaccinated, and then you feel like it's an infringement on your personal choice, you're more likely to get outraged. And a lot of what Republicans want are for people to be outraged on a local, granular level so that they are engaged with the GOP in all elections, state, local, federal, what have you. And so I haven't seen a big Republican go as far as Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick there quite yet, in explicitly blaming black people for vaccination rates, but that has been percolating behind the scenes for quite a while, and he finally said the quiet part out loud.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.